which like I don't have any friends.
What did it cost you in the meantime?
It cost me a social life.
I've had multiple orthopedic surgeries that most of which probably could have been prevented if I had done something about it sooner.
It happens one little like micro step at a time until 5 years later you get a divorce or fall into an affair. Like I'm talking about like 9 figures. Their family dynamics are not great. The kids are on drugs at the expense of what? Usually the relationship with your family. The pain of change has to outweigh the pain of what you're currently doing.
Dr. Kyle Volstad, super excited to have you here, man.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, doctor of physical therapy, but we're going to talk about a lot of stuff outside of physical therapy today, and that'll be a core theme, right? But really excited just to talk about your interaction with patients, right? What you're seeing. I think we spend so much time, right, building these lives, whether it's professionally, we steward our businesses, our families, our children, and without realizing the physical toll it has on us over time. And whether it's the business itself or it's something else, we're just neglecting it, right? Or it's not at our forefront. So I'd love to understand and talk more today just about what you're seeing from your perspective and how that all interacts, and ultimately how our physical health impacts our ability to do anything else in life. So before we get into the depths, let's start with you, right? How'd you get into physical therapy?
Actually, it was kind of not that purposeful. I was originally, my plan was to be a firefighter. I'm a firefighter. That's what I want to do. I think it would be a good reflection, like my personality and what I want to do, dynamic and active and social, not like living behind a cubicle my whole life. Like being an accountant would probably be the opposite of what I would want to do.
Yeah.
Maybe a lawyer.
Yeah.
So I was going to be a firefighter. I went to college. I was only going to go to college unless I had an athletic opportunity and scholarship, which I was fortunate to do that. So I played 2 sports in college. I actually got 3 scholarships. It was football, volleyball, and academic.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until just now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So football was like D2. Men's volleyball is small. It's a small community. So you're either D1 or D3. So we were D1, which is cool. And that's the reason why I chose the school. I had better, cool exposure to other cool programs and stuff. So I went and I was like, well, I'm going to major in, I liked anatomy. I think that was cool, the human body. I didn't like ecology or like animals and stuff like that. Or I was like, I think anatomy's cool. So I ended up majoring in biology. People were like, why don't you be a firefighter? Like, why are you majoring in something that's so hard? I'm like, no, I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
Was not a chemistry guy. I hated that. It was not good at it. But anyway, I last semester, like 2 weeks before I was going to graduate, my dad was talking on the phone, like, hey, how's your week been? How's your school? Like, how was tests or whatever? I was like, yeah, I got an A in this. This has been going well. He's like, yeah, you ever think about like PT school instead of firefighting? And I was like, I'll look into it. So that was the
2 weeks before graduation.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I had to finish like a couple other prereqs like that summer to then apply the next cohort, which was like 4 months later in August, to then to getting into school the next year. So I had a gap year between then.
Nice.
That's the reason why I got into PT.
Okay.
Yeah.
So take me real quick. I want to briefly understand the whole story. This is for my personal benefit. I'm just curious. So graduated from college. Where'd you go to college?
Quincy University.
Okay. I've heard of it.
Small little private Catholic school in Illinois.
Cool. That's awesome.
1,200 students.
Wow. So smaller than our high school.
Smaller, like half.
Yeah.
And I had never seen snow until I went to college too.
No
Being
way.
born and raised here. That's a huge culture shock.
You went to physical therapy school, right? And then you mentioned fellowship as well. Walk us through, all that.
So I went to University of Miami for PT school, which is where I met Nicole, my wife. And then we were just dating at the time. And then she got into an orthopedic residency program in Houston at Houston Methodist, which is like one of the best ones in the country. And I didn't. So I was like, do I go with her, my girlfriend, to Houston, or have a job lined up in Fort Lauderdale? I could just stay in Florida. I ended up choosing the leap of faith and went with her and not knowing anybody, or having a job and went to Houston. And then with the same group of colleagues, they were like, hey, we also have this fellowship program in addition to the residency that you can just go into right away. So what it is like, it's a 3-year postdoc program on orthopedic sports, like how orthopedics, the lens of like for athletes and active individuals, for like sport type movements and stuff, and manual therapy. So clinical reasoning, differential diagnosis, orthopedic sports, and then how do you treat it from a manual therapy standpoint, and then also corrective exercises. So that's what the fellowship was. And it was like a 3-year program.
That's cool.
And it was the best thing that ever happened because I got a good idea of like what I wanted to be like.
How many physical therapists, like percentage wise, actually go through a fellowship program like that?
Less than 1%.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it really sets you guys apart. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And now, what was the difference between that program and what your wife was doing?
So she actually did both simultaneously.
Oh, the wives are such badasses.
Yeah, that's
Whether it was so much cooler than we are.
She's a good student, man. Like
Yeah.
she was good at learning. Was like our personalities. She was the only one that got a 4.0 in the whole program in our DPT program. She got the clinical excellence, academic excellence award for our cohort. And she had a 4.0 in undergrad too at University of Miami. Yeah.
Wow.
And she played soccer at Miami too. So she was an
nice.
athlete. Yeah. She's an animal. When I was dating her, some of my buddies, I was like, yeah, she played soccer at UM and she's in grad school with me. And they were like, dude, good scoop.
Yeah, right.
How'd you find her? Like, and she cooks. And they're like, what?
What? Yeah.
Like immediately married this girl.
What a catch. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man. That's great.
Yeah, it was cool.
So-
But anyway, so she did both at the same time. The difference, we're talking about residency and fellowship. Residency is more research-based and research setup, how to navigate the research. And it's a lot of didactic on that to understand effectiveness in that.
Yeah.
Fellowship is more applicable. It's like, okay, you have this understanding of this knowledge. Now what do you do with it? How do you treat people for this?
I love it. So when you guys were done with school and fellowship in Houston, stay there for a little bit, you come back?
We came back pretty quickly afterwards.
Okay.
The plan was to come back. Nicole Bargan was like, if you come to Houston with me, then I'll move back to Florida, which she didn't have any qualms on that because it's like a beautiful South Florida. You know?
Is she from here?
She was born in Titusville, but she was
Okay.
raised in Northern Virginia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Fairfax Station, Virginia, kind of
Okay.
outside DC.
Cool. That's awesome. So you guys came back. Athlete restoration didn't start then, right?
No, about 6 months later.
Okay, so it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
It wasn't quick. So when you were starting, when you decided to, this is what I'm really
I
fascinated
didn't want to
with.
start the business.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't even know. Like I said, in Houston, we had some really good mentorship and exposure to people that I was like, I want to be like you. I want to be you. I want to be a little bit of you. I want to be mostly you, and I want to put it together and make my own eclectic version of me, of those people. I don't want to be that, and I don't want to be this. I don't want to hate those people. I'm not making fun of them. I just don't want to be that when I grow up.
What did you not want to be?
Oh, good question. Like stale, mediocre,
Yeah.
and not. It sounds bad. Like I'm not really like this, but I just didn't want to not be the best.
Yeah.
So or it's just like not the best, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything you saw from different practices that you were like, I'm sure the answer is yes. I guess take me through what things did you see in some of those practices that you really liked or really disliked?
The clinical rationale, as in
Okay.
like if you're doing a treatment, you're managing this pain for somebody, this dysfunction. What's making you choose to do this corrective exercise versus this corrective exercise, or no manual therapy, or this manual therapy intervention you're doing? What's the reason why? Usually it's a lot of just like, it's just time consuming fluff, just because they have other people they need to manage at the same time. They need to go to lunch. They're tired. They have their kid's soccer game tonight. That's where their head is.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm like that totally, as in like, I'm thinking about my outside life, but I still, and this is the tricky part of owning a business, I'm sure you're also familiar too, is like when you're with somebody, you have to fully dive in and be fully present and locked in, roll up your sleeves and put in a hard effort and critically think for that hour.
Yeah.
And then the next hour do the same thing. And then the next hour do the same thing for like every patient. And I think people definitely can tell the difference
100%.
when you're not there versus like, hold on a second, explain this again to me, right? Like, let me roll up my sleeves. Let me ask the right questions.
Yeah.
And very often people now will be like, nobody's ever asked that before. Or nobody's ever figured this out. A lot of times it's just like trying hard. And that's one of my core values with bringing employees on is like, you have to try hard.
Yeah.
Like, there's no other, if you don't, then we're just going to fall into the abyss of mediocrity and be like everybody else.
Yeah.
You know?
And you can't teach that. And it's the caring as well, right? Like you can't teach somebody like to actually care about the person. So
Right.
some people just show up. It's just a job. They just want to check the box, go home. I think that's especially tough for us as business owners, what you were talking about in really siloing your time and your attention, right? 'Cause we get it. Like we have young families. Like I think about them constantly. I want to spend time with my kids and my wife like all day, every day. I would do that for a job if I could, you know?
Usually my break time, like if I'm having lunch, which is usually 12 minutes or 15 minutes. It's usually time is like 12 minutes. I'm usually watching home videos and I'm like scrolling through, like featured photos will pop up. I'm like, oh, and I'm like, oh shoot, I need to get back to my patient, you know?
I've found, because I used to, I don't think it ever took away from the quality, right, of what I was, maybe it did, I just wasn't aware of it, of the experience that I was giving, whether it was a client or whoever's sitting across from me. But I've found, right, if I wasn't fully engaged at work, right, I would feel dissatisfied at the end of the day and then bring some of that home with me. And so it got to this point where like, hey, work time is work time. Like check in on the family, everybody a couple of times throughout the day, make sure we're all good. But otherwise it's like, I got to be locked in. And then I could close the day knowing like, all right, that was a good solid day. And it translated over to being at home. Like, okay, I'm more present and more home than I typically
100%.
would have been.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Totally.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's like a shame or, frustration. I think frustration and shame might be two words that would come to mind.
Yeah.
It's like I get home, like I didn't get anything done. I wasn't productive.
Yeah.
My wife, she'll be like, how was your day? I'm like, it was productive. So I really like, there's a podcast I like a lot. But something that I really tried to implement was like, all right, why was it productive? What things were you like, it's productive because checklist. What are those checklist things? Yeah. So I wrote them down, and I made an Excel spreadsheet. I'm very organized when I need to be.
Yeah.
But I made an Excel spreadsheet every day for a year, broken down in months, of like what are those 5 checklist things to make me know that I did something.
What are they?
Did I move the needle?
Yep.
And that's a little bit ambiguous. Yes. Mm-hmm. Did I move the needle for the practice? And it's usually, did I treat a patient and crushed it? As in like they left, and usually the litmus test for that is, did they leave feeling better? Mm-hmm. Are we high-fiving, telling a witty joke, laughing on the way out? Like, hey, bud, I'll see you next week. See you later, buddy. Like if that's the ending, that means it was a good job.
Yeah.
They feel better and they're leaving on a high note. Cool. Okay, so move at that, or did we set up some kind of community networking relationship event or start the wheels turning of something in that direction for networking and community relationships, or a meaningful conversation with an employee or team member or something? Those would be in that list of like, did I move the needle so that we're not just like stagnant? Okay, so did I move the needle? Did I work out? Did I read, so this is tough, I don't always do this one. Did I read 10 pages of some kind of business book? Did I have a 5-minute devotional of some sort? And then my last one that I just implemented this year that I started doing is that I wanted to dial in my piano skills. So I really wanted to like get on a plan. So I'm like, did I practice the piano? So those are the 5 things.
Do you have a piano at the office?
No.
No. Back in
that'd be cool.
Lunchtime, yeah.
Yeah, just like serenade everyone. I'm an intermediate. All right, I'm a lower. I'm maybe at an intermediate, above a lower intermediate. I'm not an advanced intermediate.
Still impressive.
But I'm above a beginner,
Yeah.
But anyway, so that to answer your question, usually the top 2 things at work, did I move the needle with those things I mentioned, and then did I work out? Those are the only 2 things. That's it. So I made a checklist on an Excel spreadsheet every day, 1 through 30 or 31 days in a month for all 12 months. Tallied at the end of the month. So we're like, how many days did I actually work out and how many days did I actually move the needle? And there's only like 20 to 21 working days in a month because there's weekends. And weekends are 100% dedicated to family. I don't do anything else.
Love that.
I don't work out. I don't do any business stuff. Unless it's like a workshop or a seminar or something,
Sure.
and it's a one-off. But, working out 16 to 18 times a month.
It's great.
And then moving the needle 20 to 22 times a month. And then piano playing. I'm averaging 22 to 24 times a month.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really
And
great.
that has to be at night, which sucks.
Yeah.
Because I'm super groggy.
Oh, yeah, you're toast.
It's like 9 o'clock. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like doing business stuff all day.
That bed's calling. It's looking really attractive at that
or just
point.
like, I just want to just
something
watch
mindless.
TV, watch sports, and just lay down and go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go back to you're getting back from Houston,
Yeah.
right? You didn't want to open the business. Why did you have to?
Because there's no other options.
Yeah.
Like in this area, there's a lot of, it's not progressive from a healthcare standpoint. Houston was amazing. Like we worked in the hospital system that had outpatient clinics too, and they were actually somewhat sports related. They had a good network, and I had a good relationship with this pediatric orthopedic surgeon that was cool. and some other orthopedic surgeons in the area where they would, and non-orthopedic, non-surgical orthopedics, and they would actually send people to our clinic. So any outpatient physical therapy, most of the time in this area, it's going to be people that don't want to be there. Imagine, they need it.
Yeah.
But imagine somebody that's like in their 70s, they're sedentary, and they have knee arthritis.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, my doctor told me to come here so that I could satisfy insurance to have a knee replacement. I'm like, what are we going to do?
Yeah, that's not
so
not fun
I'm a
for
joke.
you.
This is a joke.
Yeah.
What are we actually going to do?
Yeah.
Well, I was bored. So I had a bunch of that. So eventually the days went by quicker if I would just have conversations. And there would be the people on the schedule that people like, I don't want this person on my schedule. Imagine this like 75-year-old Russian guy who's obese and ordinary. Like he's grumpy.
Yeah.
And you have 4 of the people at the same time. Who wants to have that person also on their schedule?
Yeah, that's
I'm
not
like,
good.
Clear my schedule, I'll take him. So anyway, I remember this particular one day, this guy, I had him. I was like, I want a one-on-one though, so I can like actually just manage this. Just do me. Nobody else wants to see him. Do me a favor. Then we just have a one-on-one, so I don't have 4 of the people. It ended with him being like, all right, buddy, I'll see you next time. Yeah, and he felt better. And they were like, what did you do? And I'm like, really not that much. I just talked to the guy.
Yeah.
I was bored, and I would just ask questions like, where are you from? Oh, you're from Russia. Like, when did you move here? This is a real story. He was 27. I was like, would you ever go back? He's like, absolutely not. He's like, no, it's the worst.
Really?
People go missing.
Yeah.
Like, if you speak out against the government, you go missing at 3 a.m. So, like, appreciate your blessings here in America.
Yeah.
And he's like, what about, like, Putin? Where's he stand? He's like, Putin is Russia. Putin, he is Russia.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He's like, you don't speak out against Putin. It was just funny. So anyway, another lady that was like also in her late 60s, early 70s from Romania. She had a thick accent, and talking with her, same kind of thing. She was on the way out. She was just like, tell your wife I said hi. Like those kind of, like that's how the end of the session would go. And I'm like, oh shoot, I have like 3 other people. I need to go get them.
Yeah.
So I was bored doing my job. And then that's the only thing that really made it somewhat interesting.
Connecting with the person sitting across from
it was
you,
just like a
spending
fun conversation,
Yeah, and the system, from what it seems, right, I'm going to physical therapy now, and I actually love the, I had a partial knee replacement.
Oh, you do?
Like 6 weeks ago, yeah. So I've been going to...
You did?
Yeah, almost like 2 months ago, yeah.
Wow.
So I've been going to physical therapy, and it's, connected to my dad's group, and the guys are great, but you see it, like that model, right, insurance-based, I'm one of 5 people there, kind of managing. And like, I'm friendly with the guys. I've known them for years through my dad's practice. So it's like, it's fine. But I see what you're saying, right? If they didn't know me personally, I probably wouldn't get the level of care. Not there, right? But other facilities. So it seems like what was really attractive for you was, again, just being able to connect and spend time. I don't really care for the person sitting across from you, where in the traditional model, it's like, you don't have that time. You got 10 minutes, bop, here, there, back and forth, and like it's just
putting out fires all day.
You're going nuts, yeah.
They're not bad people. They're
not
just
at all.
They're just set up for failure, as in that they can't spend the time to do it. So to add 8 years of doing that consistently for a practitioner in that kind of position, if it's a PTA or a PT, the luster is gone. There's no, like, they're just so, it's mundane. Yeah. And that definitely opening my own practice definitely reinvigorated my career. I think twofold. One, it was cool because the patients that I was seeing wanted to be there because they're paying out of pocket. Yeah. Right. So they're not going to be there unless they want to. And usually they come in and they're hanging on every word you're saying, which is also cool. Like it's meaningful. They're listening. And they try hard.
They want to get better. Yeah.
They're matching the effort, which is cool. There's usually a challenging puzzle piece to figure out. Because the people come in to see me because the other things I haven't worked yet. So I'm like the last resort. So it's a fun puzzle piece opportunity. It's great. It's just I can exercise my knowledge and skills. It's just fun. Yeah. And at the same time, a one-on-one, more authentic type of engagement, which is also invigorating and fun too.
It's great
to learn about. And I've learned a lot on that end from people.
Yeah. When you were opening Athlete Restoration, what did you envision? Like, what were you building? What was the problem you were solving? What was going to be different about what you were doing?
From a entrepreneurial standpoint, my goal was to replace my income. That was it. Yeah. And it was like, how am I going to do that? Right? I've never done a business before. And I'm
Easier said than done.
Exactly. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And never in my idea was like, I can't. There's no way I'm going to have employees.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with that. What do they even do? You know,
Yeah.
I barely even have enough people right now. It was just building. I had nobody, you know, which is a great humility experience, you know, just learning experience. But my vision was, well, after this, the anxiety and concern of just like, where am I going to make money, right? And just replacing my income, to then being like, this is cool and fun. I want to create a culture for the community that when we lived in Texas, in Houston, we really loved the culture of like, people were just more, it just seemed very genuine and warm people. We would have meaningful conversations with people in the grocery store that never met. It would start with like a lady being like, hey, I can't reach that thing at the top shelf. You're tall, can you grab it for me?
Yeah.
Which happens all the time, I'm sure for you too.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I got you. And she's like, thank you, where are you from? And they would turn into like, well, I'm like, I got to get shopping, but hey, tell your mom I said hi. You know, like, good luck with that thing with your kids.
10-minute conversation later, yeah.
I didn't even know the lady, you know, it happened. And then from Miami, of course, it was a huge, stark contrast.
Yeah.
And West Palm, somewhat similar, right? Of the Miami, New England, Northeast type of, the culture type dominates that more so than it would like a Southern Houston type charm, right?
Yeah.
So we're like, I want to bring that culture here and just do it. I'm just going to bring it. You know, like if people don't reciprocate it, it's not my problem. But like, that's how I want to live. I like that. So I wanted to create that kind of a culture of authenticity, genuinity, warmth, where people were like, you're just a nice guy, or like, you're just authentic, right? Like say what you mean. And the intentions behind are actually legitimate.
Yeah.
Another way to explain it would be like, I don't know why, but like in areas like Miami as an example, not everywhere, everybody in Miami, but like you just get the sense of like you go home and I'm not sure if they're talking trash about me behind my back after we met. You know what I'm saying? Well, like in Houston, it was like, I think they actually are nice for real.
Yeah.
They're not going to go home and be like, what an idiot that guy, you know, like talk trash about you afterwards just to elevate themselves.
Yeah.
Competitive, social culture, I guess, you know, status.
The area definitely breeds a weird, I mean, West Palm included, a weird competitiveness that's not really necessary.
Yeah. So I was like, I want to bring that culture and just be that person.
Yeah.
So that's part of the culture I wanted to create. And then also from a practice standpoint, the actual service, like a legitimate place that actually quickly resolves the problem, where they actually get results quickly versus just fluff and not, you know, where we have to, you know, like that's the thing we live and die on is the actual results we get people. So I'm like, also, so if we relate the recipe of like, what if it's authentically fun, they enjoy being around us. They're like, I don't know why I dislike that person, right? And we deliver results, and it's in a facility that looks the part. That's the best recipe that leads to word of mouth referrals, which is people can't not tell you about that. You know, like I have to tell people, you know, like that's that's the place you got to go there.
That's hard to do. I mean, that's hard to create a business that one, again, financially supports you, but two, also like really provides a lot of value for the patients and gets them results, especially your field, quickly, right?
Yeah.
It's not always a quick, easy solution.
It's not, and it's it's trust ultimately it comes down to. Good thing. Another thing I was thinking about is a culture of over delivering, as in like the value. There has to be a ton of value that the person perceives they're getting by coming to see you out of pocket versus just going insurance. Yeah. And usually a contrast will be like, oh, I see the difference. We've heard that from people. So, but they have to see the value. So, in order to stand out and actually deliver a 10 out of 10 instead of an 8 out of 10, which is a huge difference, we have to over deliver the value. Yeah. Where the goal is for them to leave with, like I said, like, hey, great meeting you. Tell your wife I said, hey, laughing, high five on the way out, and they feel better. And they leave saying like, man, I got so much value out of that. Yeah. Like I got way more value than what I paid. They over delivered.
That's what you want.
And they followed up with me afterwards.
And that's what keeps them coming back.
Exactly.
So I'm interested in the toll it has on you though, right? So it's challenging to build a business in and of itself, one that actually delivers value for patients or clients, also difficult. Building a family on top of it, also difficult. Not going insane in the process.
Yeah, not also getting fat and soggy.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you felt like it cost you, right? Because now you said 2019 is when you guys opened? Yeah. So 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years.
Right. What did it cost you in the meantime? What have you learned throughout the process?
It cost me a social life.
Yeah.
It cost me things that I didn't think that I thought that aren't important,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Social life's important.
Yeah.
I think meaningful male relationships is extremely important, which like I don't have any friends. Like it's weird. Like
Yeah.
I really don't have any friends other than like men's groups, but my family and my kids and my wife, being present with them I'm like, how early can I get home to make sure that I'm there, which is hard because then like the frustration, shame, the to-do list, I have to really focus on what's efficient and actually going to be important in that list I was talking about.
Yeah.
So that I come home and I can be like, total transition shift. This has exited my brain and I'm going to fully dive in to being here.
Love that.
Where if I have like if I am frustrated, I have to identify what was it that made me frustrated. So yeah, it's difficult. What did it cost me? It cost me a lot of things that probably weren't really necessary anyway.
Great.
I think unnecessary social life,
Yeah.
like status, I would say, maybe just being present socially.
Yeah.
Hobbies,
Yeah.
which my only hobby is probably exercising and then now playing the piano, which I have to squeeze in before I go to bed when I'm super tired and groggy and not my best brain.
Was there a time where piano, exercise, maybe another hobby weren't happening that you were?
It goes in seasons, of course. It's just seasons.
Yeah.
There's purposeful intention of like, then what do you want? And that I think is what some business mentorship that I had was really valuable. Starts with what do you want?
Yeah.
What is it that you want? And write it out.
Yeah.
Being like, let's say a year from now, you're like, man, I'm living the best life possible. Like I designed my life exactly the way I want. Like this is the best.
What does that look like?
What's that look like?
Yeah.
What is that? This is different for different people. Like, man, I want to go out every night to 3 a.m. That would be amazing. I want to drink a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe dabble in some recreational drugs to medicate and escape. Watch a ton of football. Be an asshole to my kids.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
And then have my wife and relationship and I split and get a little more separated.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Said no, right? No, like that just happens though.
But it happens, it drifts, right?
It happens one little like micro step at a time until 5 years later you get a divorce or fall into an affair or something. That's what I've heard from people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've seen it. I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
You got to be super intentional. So that happens with health too,
Yeah,
right? And
totally.
why do you think? And we can talk about the life falling apart, or let's maybe stick to just the health. But why do you think that people wait until the wheels are falling off to come to physical therapy, to go seek out help? Like, what's behind that? Like, why aren't they more proactive about it?
Usually, and from what I've gathered, it's usually an awareness epiphany that happens from a moment where they're like, holy crap, I can't do this anymore. Or like the pain or whatever, the limitation has come to a head where it's enough to cause a change. I'm sure you've heard that analogy before. Like the pain of change has to outweigh the pain of what you're currently doing. Like the desire.
Yeah.
The pain of change has to be less than the pain you're going through now to be able to have the change.
Yeah, to make the change.
Yeah. So there's usually an epiphany moment that people call like, it's been going on now for 8 months and I tried to run and now it just like really hurts. So it just compounded and accumulated a little bit, not enough to cause a change yet until it did. And then that's the reason. I think it's just a lack of awareness and intentionality. Yeah. That now all of a sudden it's like, whoa, this is really limiting me, and it hurts way more than it hurts more than I wanted to. Yeah. Now I need to make a change.
I'm guilty of it, right?
That makes sense. Like you're just moving and grooving, doing your thing until you can't, and then it's like, why? Oh, this is because why? Now I need to make an effort.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of it. I mean, I've had multiple orthopedic surgeries that most of which probably could have been prevented if I had done something about it sooner. But
people, you don't know. Like people don't know.
Yeah, you just wait, and again, you get busy, and there's other things like, I can live with that.
I can manage
my knee hurts, but I can suffer through it for another 5 years, and before I'm doing anything. So I'm so busy, right? I'm so busy with all these things.
I was gonna say, there's another conversation you should have with patients. Then is like, okay, your knee hurts. Why now are you calling?
It's a great question.
Versus last week or 6 months ago, if it's been hurting for 8 months, right? Why not like 6 weeks ago? Why now all of a sudden? And it's usually that. We're like, well, I tried to run. Or my wife, I noticed I'm just like I'm getting chunked, like I'm gaining weight and I don't want to, and I can't work out like I want to lose weight because my knee hurts.
Yeah.
Or my parents are going through a decline and a major family event happened and I don't want to end up like that trajectory.
Yeah.
So I want to change my trajectory now. So it was an eye-opening moment like that.
Is that part of your intake? Because we got to compare notes, because we do something very similar where it's like we first and foremost are looking at, why are you here?
Yeah.
Like not like, oh, I'm, and let's use a physical therapy, for example. Oh, my knee hurts. It's like, well, yeah, that's a symptom, but what are you trying to accomplish? Like,
right.
what capacity are you looking to unlock? Let's imagine we're sitting here a year from now having a conversation, and what would have to happen in this year for you starting here to be the best decision you ever made? I want absolute best case scenario.
Yeah.
Why now? Like, why not, 2 years ago when your knees started hurting, what changed? Like, all that stuff I think is super critical in us being able to truly serve the people sitting across from us. Because if we're just looking at a symptom, and if even your patient is just looking at a symptom of like, my knee hurts, we've lived with the pain. Just resolving the pain isn't enough to like get us going. It's what capacity does that unlock? Do you think that's fair?
Oh, 100%. That is extremely critical because it gives us an idea of the person, what they want, why, and then like why is that important? You know what I mean? It'll shift our conversations and then also our treatment approach. So if someone's like, because people want to be able to run a 5K or by the end of the year or whatever, that's going to look different than somebody that's like, I want to be able to lift weights. I just want to be able to go on a walk with my husband on the beach. Let's different goals, and that's going to shift our awareness and perspective and different efforts towards what we're going to do.
Yeah,
it's not going to look the same, and conversationally, it's not going to look the same either.
Yeah,
if a pro athlete comes in and they're like really dry, like competitive, and that conversations would be different than somebody who wants to go on a walk with their husband on the beach at night.
Yeah,
right.
And it has to fit them, right? And ultimately that, I think, allows us to better serve the person sitting across from us. And ultimately that just kind of puts us on the same path in terms of like what we're trying to accomplish, right? There's a lot of alignment.
I think another great thing is it kind of gives the message that if I'm like, why are you here? What is it that you want? It's less pushy. Mm-hmm. We can help you. Let's do this. Let me show you why.
Yeah.
It's like, are you even a good fit? We want to make sure that you think we're a good fit for you.
Yeah.
Do you buy in, right? Before we get married, are you cool? Like, let me make sure it's the right fit. Because if you're not, I'll send you somewhere else.
Yeah.
People appreciate that. It's like, versus just like, it's just too pushy otherwise.
Well, and then they're more likely to stick around too. If there's that alignment, like the expectations are set. We're like, all right, we've determined that you're a good fit for us. We're a good fit for you. We are in agreement on what the process is going to look like from here on out. Whereas if you're just, again, like cramming something down their throat that maybe there's not a great fit somewhere,
right,
they'll stick around for a month or two and then they're gone because something is not jive.
Yeah. And then they won't leave with the best taste in their mouth. Not a bad one, but it wouldn't be the right. I think just clear expectations and a good understanding of what each of us were trying to do in the situation. Yeah. And then it leaves them like, they were down to earth. They didn't try to over push things for me.
Exactly.
They only did what they thought I wanted. And they freaking delivered that.
Yeah.
They over-delivered. So they weren't a fit for me in this realm, but I highly recommend them. That happens often. I've had people not come in on the phone call, be like, I'm like, same conversation. What do you want? What's been going on? Tell me what's like, why? Why now? What do you want? If you don't fix this, what does 5 years from now look like? And that's usually like, oh man, like not good.
Oh boy, yeah.
And they're like, I'm like, I don't think it's the right fit. If it's like a heavy neuro patient or something like that, like, and they're like, well, I appreciate that. Go elsewhere. Cool. They've sent people to us.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Like we didn't even see them, but they were like word of mouth recommended somebody come see us.
I think that's the thing a lot of businesses miss, right? Is they feel like they have to capture every single person that walks in the door, and then they end up kind of creating a mediocre business, like we talked about, because they're trying to be everything to everybody. It's like, no, find your lane, find what you're great at, right? And only serve those people. And the people, like you said, that you turn away, we've had the same thing where people are coming in for who knows what. Like that's just not something we do. We're not passionate about it. Like, could we kind of sort of help you? Possibly, but I know you'd be way better off in this place. And like you said, they'll send people in.
Yeah.
Talking about the process in the beginning, what we've set up, and I think it's turned out to be great, right? Because early on we struggled to find like, how do we best onboard somebody into the fountain program, right? And make them really happy and us feel good about the work we're doing and know that we're serving them. And something you kind of alluded to is like, if we understand why they're really there, right? Then we explain, and this is our responsibility to explain what we do and what we can do very clearly, the whole kind of spectrum, and then make a recommendation based on here's what you said you want, here's what we do, here's what we recommend from our professional standpoint. And then from there, it's an invitation to join that. It's not like, hey, you should, you have to do this. It's like, this is what we can offer you. It's your decision to make if you want to get on the train or not. It just feels so much better than trying to cram something down somebody's throat that they don't need. And I wish more businesses understood that. So it's really refreshing for me to see you doing that. Yeah. It's really cool.
No, well, I appreciate that. But we honestly, we're like, I don't think we're a good fit, Yeah. When we send you somewhere else.
Well, sometimes too, it's got to be more of a pain in the butt if it doesn't, again, fall align with what you guys are trying to do. You're like, maybe it's not the patient, maybe it's just the situation. Like, this is going to be a real big pain in the butt for us too, right? Like, it's going to be hard for us to manage like the heavy neuro patient.
It's going to be a wrestling match versus a dance.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just no good. Something that when you were talking a second ago, I was thinking about, you're all cash pay in your business, and we are too. We don't do any insurance for various reasons. Probably same reason you're not doing insurance. But I found that kind of, I guess what I was most surprised by, right, is most of the people that walk through our door, because it's not something they have to do, right? They're taking their own money and paying for it. It's not insurance paying for it. They're typically pretty driven, pretty ambitious people. But at the same time, it's like, well, here we have these really ambitious people that are successful in so many other areas of their life, have a beautiful family, they're great at their job, make a ton of money, whatever it is. They've really let their health go. Yeah. Why do you think that happens with it? Like with ambitious people, driven people of all types? Like, what do you think is going on there?
Yeah, totally. I think it's a lack. It's just a lack of awareness, of intentionality, because they're driven and ambitious. Probably. This is where it gets a little more philosophical. I
want to hear it.
They're driven for what worldly success looks like, which is usually monetary and power, ego, status. It's money, power, and status usually. And what does that look like? Monetarily, owning businesses, and then sacrifice whatever is necessary to make all the necessary sacrifice. You got to sacrifice. In my opinion, and what I found, and I could have gone this route. Yeah. Unless I was like, no, focus. Like, what direction am I going? What you sacrifice is family time. Yeah. To build a business with multiple locations and across the country, I want to be the biggest physical therapy clinic in the nation. Yeah. Open places in Arkansas, and California, New York, South Florida, Northern Florida, like whatever. Yeah. My gosh, you know how much traveling that would be? My mental bandwidth would be always focused on that, growing the business, hiring, firing, HR, operations, systems, sales, marketing, culture, like all that stuff. Oh my gosh, it'd be overwhelmingly consuming. Yeah. Because that leads to having a more of a successful. That's what a successful business requires if you're going to do that level, because you can make more money and then monetarily be super successful, and you can flash it. You can flex, cars, properties, whatever. And then tell your friends you have a huge franchise, like whatever. Yeah. But I'm like, at the expense of what? Yeah. And that's usually the relationship with your family. Yeah. If you have a family. And I've met a lot of very successful people in the practice. I've met a wide range of people in my practice. I've learned a ton. And it's very interesting. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Yeah. Very successful. Like, I'm talking about like 9 figures, right? Yeah. Like, where you'd be like, oh man, they're like big super bucks, wealthy. Yeah. Their family dynamics are not great. Yeah. The kids are on drugs or something. They're not successful. Yeah. They're missed flights, like their failure to launches. They don't. Yeah, like they want to. I heard them complain to me about like their kids don't want to come over to watch this on their new boat, and I'm like, I mean, I don't know. It's a bummer, I'm like, I don't want to be that.
I was always concerned with that too, right? You see these, and when we're younger, it's tough to separate the two. You see this crazy levels of success, and I mean, I'm talking very young, right? And you're like, wow, I want that. I want to be that. That looks really cool.
Have a Lamborghini,
and then when you dig deeper into the individual, like, well, their health's going to shit, and their family hates them. I'm like, well, no, I don't want that.
They're
Actually,
in their third marriage.
yeah, exactly. And it's almost like it's almost like there's a way to do it, right? There's a way to grow a big business slow, methodically, and with intentionality of like, we're going to keep the family intact. We're going to prioritize our health. We're going to prioritize our team and the people we're serving.
Yeah.
For the most part, though, when you grow that size and that rapidly, it's soulless, right? There's nothing happening that, I would say, not all the time, a lot of times, right? There's just, I feel like the real substance and what ultimately the value that life can
What
bring.
actually matters.
Yeah, what actually matters. It's not there.
Yeah.
And that's not attractive for me either.
I agree. So with that being said, it's like, I imagine the self-conversations in their heads, because I've been there, where it's like, no, I can't work out. I don't have time because I need to do this. No, I can't go to your baseball thing, kid, because like I have this to go. I'm traveling. None of that. It's just prioritization. Like it means like nobody's busy. We just prioritize.
Yeah.
It's just, what do you prioritize? So like if you're too busy to work out, that just means you don't prioritize it, which is cool. Like if that's what you want, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying I don't want to be that.
Yeah.
So I'm talking with some friends, like they're like, how's it going? I'm like, it's good. I'm just trying to do my best. What I don't want to have happen is I don't want my marriage to fail, and I don't want to get fat.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's very simple.
While building something.
Yeah.
So it's just intentionality and prioritization.
I love that.
So that just tells me that they're just not prioritizing that because they're chasing usually monetary success, status, and power.
What's one lesson that you've learned from your patients, right? And maybe they've intentionally taught you, you've kind of picked up through osmosis that this changed how you live your life?
Well, what I hear a lot is, oh, God, don't get old. Don't get old. Getting old sucks. I'm like, I've heard that 1,000 times. Tell me. I'm going to write this down. How do I
not do that?
How do I do that?
Yeah.
And gathering from my own profession, like my own previous education stuff, and then what they tell me and their current situation, what they say and convey, it usually comes down to just don't stop. Where an example would be like Tom Brady or LeBron James. They're in their 40s and they played professional sports. How is that possible? Oh, because they're genetic freaks. Right? Open your fridge and show me your genetics. Right?
Yeah.
That's exactly. It's just don't stop. They just never stopped. That's what they did. Right? Ray Allen, same thing. Was 39 or 40 when he played with the Heat last season. Mm-hmm. And they're doing dunks and sprinting up the court with all like for many, many games. How is that possible? Well, they're prioritizing their recovery, sleep. They're doing corrective exercises. They're exercising. They're not overdoing some things, and then they just haven't stopped the process. Yeah. That just allows them to stay at a different level. And then for me personally, I've definitely noticed that. Like if I do pick up basketball, I have lost the explosiveness, the jumpy, the quick, the springy.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot too. Is like I tell my body to do something, I just isn't able to do it the same way it was when I was 20. That's totally true, and I feel that right now. Like I'm like trying to go for a ball, I'm like, man, I'm not moving as quick as I used to, and I'm like really hurting the next day, like joints. I'm like, it's just because I haven't done that. I'm just I'm just not trained in that, and the ceiling as you age gets lower and lower, and the recovery gets slower and slower to bounce back. So with that being said, what I've gathered is don't stop. Mobility is usually the first thing that goes, as in like range of motion, flexibility, the ability to like just reach your arms overhead fully, touch your toes, get down to like a sumo squat type of position. Just represents like general body mobility. Yeah. So like stretching and mobilizing your body.
Outside of like the physical health, right? How do people apply that same philosophy to all areas of health, right? If we're looking at, again, not getting old, like how can people take this and say, okay, what do I do? What's the mindset? What's the philosophy? How do I approach my everyday life to preserve my health, right? To not get old?
Another one would be cognitive sharpness, which it would be mentally stimulating and challenging activities, which would be like learning a new language or a musical instrument. I think another one would be like logistics, as in like, as people age, and I've noticed it too with extended family members and other people that I know, the sharpness declines pretty quickly after someone retires. Yeah, it's because they're just not using their brain in a critical way to exercise their brain neural connections the same way either. And part of that I think would be like logistical planning. Where imagine somebody who's like, they're well seasoned and aged, all right, and they're experienced and wise, and they're in their upper 80s, all right, and they watch a lot of TV, they worked a ton, they're chilling now, and be like, hey, we're gonna go on a trip to Canada next, like in like 6 months. I'll meet you there. What's involved with that? And dudes, as a person in that profile, it'd be I don't think they could.
Yeah.
Which is like, I need to book a flight on the date that I'm looking for. I need to navigate which flight's the best one. Is there a connection I need to navigate? And then when I arrive there, I need a rental car, and I also need to book a hotel. And then when I get there, I need to make sure, I need to check my bags. What do I need to pack? Like all that, there's a lot of logistical planning that goes with that, which is why I think people are so tired after traveling, is there's so much mental stimulation.
Yeah.
Same thing with school and work. Like heavy days, like in school, like you're exhausted. It's brain metabolism that gets
there's a fatigue.
suspended. There's a fatigue. Yeah. And same thing with like traveling. There's a fatigue because you're sharp the whole time. Your head's on a swivel. You're analyzing the times. Are we late? What gate? Is the gate change? Where are my bags?
Well, it requires more of you, right? You think about like the day-to-day routine, like a lot of us kind of go through our daily routine. It's the same thing, right? And that variety, that variety like forces you to really be vigilant and have every system in your brain kind of active and alert at all times.
So I would say mentally challenging, stimulating activities for another thing to stay youthful. And actually, I heard a really cool thing. It was like a TED Talk on this neuroscientist lady that she was studying Alzheimer's. And why is it that some people get Alzheimer's and others don't? When they show the same MRI brain scans, which would be like the same imaging that would indicate this person has Alzheimer's based on this image.
Yeah.
This person must also have Alzheimer's based on this image because they have the same image. Yeah. But this person doesn't have Alzheimer's. The same neurofibrillary tangles and amyloid plaques are the things that block communication in the brain that would stifle cognition and makes them decline.
Yeah.
They have the same imaging. Why? Well, anyway, she came up with like the Fountain of Youth, which is 6 things. Nutrition, which would be like non-inflammatory nutritional habits, which is different for different people. Getting enough sleep routinely. Stress management, I think, is another huge one.
Huge.
It's not that you can't get stressed, because we hear that a lot. Like, don't be stressed. It's like, no, you're stressed. It's okay to be stressed. Raise your hand and say, I'm stressed right now and frustrated.
And do something.
And be like, okay, I'm stressed. That's fine. Yeah. So you're allowed to be that way. Why? What was it? Yeah. Well, this person, he's usually put something little. Somebody cut me off. Somebody was a jerk at work. It's like, well, I can't really control that anyway. And it's not that's understandable to be stressed, right? It's just identification, I think.
Yeah.
Number 4 is getting enough physical exercise. Number 5 is mentally stimulating activities, which would be like mentally challenging things. Not just doing crossword puzzles is what they ruled out. It was like, it's the same thing. Yeah. It doesn't hurt, but like learning a new instrument would be challenging, or learning a new language would be something like that. And then meaningful social engagement.
Cool.
It's like meaningful relationships that bring a little bit of purpose and belonging.
I love it.
That's the 6 things of the Fountain of Youth that this scientist found. And I was like, okay, what do I need to do?
Let's do that. Yeah. It sounds great.
What am I not doing that I need to do, and what am I doing that I need to cut out?
You and I've had a bunch of conversations, and they always end up pretty philosophical, which I love.
Yeah.
Something I've been thinking about that I wanted to ask you, right? The name of your company, right? Athlete Restoration. What do you think it is that you're really restoring in your patients?
Yeah. It would be, I think, a hope and an understanding that they're going to be okay. Our mission statement is to bring hope to people in the community that they don't have to live despondently in pain for the rest of their life, while also building a lasting relationship in the community. That's our mission statement.
I love it.
So I would say hope, and then an understanding that like things don't hurt for no reason.
Yeah.
Which means you're not an anomaly. All right. You're not like a special snowflake that has like this thing that you're born to not be healthy from a neuromusculoskeletal standpoint. Non-traumatic orthopedic injuries, musculoskeletal, they come from micro trauma injuries and mild compensations over many, many thousands of episodes. So things don't just hurt for no reason. Something's keeping it here. So we have to identify what that is and stop the irritating activity. We have to modify something at some point. I mean, even LeBron James takes time off.
Yeah.
I don't tell you to rest, but we do have to modify.
Yeah.
At some point, we have to stop the bleeding, whatever the thing is. So to identify what the stressor is and the irritating factor is, and then we can intervene with improving the mild underlying compensation patterns that you wouldn't identify otherwise. And that's what we do. So it's a management of both of those things. So to bring hope, and then understanding that there is a pathway to fix this thing. We just have to roll up our sleeves and figure out what that is. And that comes with the conversations.
I love it.
Yeah.
Closing question. If somebody listening is building something meaningful, right? What's one health lesson you hope they learn before life forces them to learn it?
Like physical health lesson?
Anything health lesson, yeah.
Oh man, I would say prioritize working out, like exercise.
Yeah.
Which is mobility and strengthening, because it's a real easy slippery slope to prioritize the to-do list. Mm-hmm. And the momentum is easy to maintain, and it's also easy to lose.
Yeah.
So just don't stop. Just prioritize working out. And usually, that's why I made that spreadsheet. Someone like, did you work out today?
Yeah.
It's like, I can do it real quick, 30 minutes. Like, oh, I can't now because it's too late,
Yeah.
or like, oh, I only have 30 minutes. Like, might as well just work on this one last email.
Yeah.
That's what a mentor told me. That's the last one to say. He was like, what's going to be more meaningful in 10 years is the workouts that you did when you didn't want to versus the email you just wrote.
Yeah.
That email is not going to matter that much in 10 years.
Yeah.
But what will matter is the habit and the momentum that you created by being like, nope, I'm going to work out. Nope, I'm going to exercise, and not stopping.
That's great.
That's going to matter way more in 10 years. I remember that specifically. I was like, I'm doing that.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being on today. It was really a pleasure chatting with you, and we'll have to do it again soon.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that we could go over.
Yeah, we need another couple hours, but we'll stop for there.
Yeah, man. No, but thank you.
Thanks.